Okay, question 6. We have a function f. We have f of x. This is the graph of the function. Part A says show that it is an odd function. Okay, so you can kind of tell it's an odd function because it has this rotational symmetry, this twofold rotational symmetry. But we need to show that it's an odd function. And to show that it's an odd function, you have to write it out properly, guys. So you have to say if it's an odd function, then f of minus x equals minus f of x. That's what an odd function is by definition. Because I'm just writing over here, just because there's not a whole lot of space in this question, but you don't be writing here, write in the box. So f of minus x, if we sub minus x in here, we get minus x, we get times the square root of 1 minus x squared. So I'm changing x into minus x into minus x. But this is equal to minus x times the square root of 1 minus x squared, because minus x times minus x is plus. So that gives us minus plus x squared, if you like. Fine. And then minus f of x is just minus this, which is minus x times 1 minus x squared. Now these two things are the same, so we need to write a conclusion. F of minus x equals minus f of x, therefore f is odd. Okay, fine. Not too difficult. Part B. This question caused problems, guys, because I remember I gave this question to my students in a mock, and a lot of them struggled. So it says the range of f goes from A to B. Find the values of A and the value of B. So initially it's confusing because it's like, hang on, how am I supposed to know what the range is? So the first thing to get into your head is the range, A is going to be the y coordinate of this. That's going to be A, so it's going to be something A, and this is going to be something B. Now I've put the coordinates because it's important, guys, you recognize that A and B are the y coordinates because it's the range. So the range goes from here to here. Okay, now how do I find these coordinates? Well, they're turning points. So what do we do at a turning point? Well, it's where the derivative equals 0. So I'm going to get this function, I'm going to differentiate it, I'm going to set the derivative equal to 0, I'm going to get two solutions, and then I need to get the y coordinate, so just be careful. So let's come down here. It's f of x is x, the square root of 1 minus x squared. So see what I mean? They did not give us a lot of space here. So part B, f of x is equal to x times the square root of 1 minus x squared. The derivative, f dash of x, is equal to, now we have to do, guys, product rule. So the product rule is so I will do, again, guys, for the sake of space, I'm going to do it here. U is equal to x, and v is equal to, well, I'm going to put it as 1 minus x squared to the power of a half. Okay. The derivative, du dx, is then just going to be 1, and dv dx is going to be a half times 1 minus x squared to the power of negative a half. I subtract 1 from the power, so multiply by the power, subtract 1 from the power, and then using the chain rule, multiply by the derivative of what's inside the bracket. Now this is actually the bit that loads of my students got wrong. They forgot to multiply by this minus 2x. So just be very, very careful. Now, the derivative using the product rule is u times dv dx. So, and by the way, guys, that 2 cancels with that 2. So u times dv dx is going to be minus x squared, because it's this x times minus x squared, times which is the same as divided by the square root of 1 minus x squared. Why am I changing it back into this? Well, index form or power form is better when you're differentiating, but once I start to solve the equation, it's easier if you have it in root form. But both ways are fine. So it's this times this plus this times this, which is just, again, back to root form, the square root of 1 minus x squared. Okay, at turning point, f dash of x equals 0. So we're going to make this equal 0 minus x squared over the square root of 1 minus x squared plus the square root of 1 minus x squared equals 0. Fraction, I'm going to make a common denominator of 1 minus x squared. And I'm then going to say this is just minus x squared, and this is going to be just this times this, which is actually, it'll remove the square root, so it's just plus 1 minus x squared equals 0. Now I have a fraction equal to 0, so the numerator must equal 0. So this is minus x squared is minus 2x squared plus 1, or 1 minus 2x squared. That's the numerator, equals 0. 2x squared equals 1, x squared equals a half, and x is equal to the square root of a half, which is 1 over root 2. Okay, now you think you're finished, but you're not. And by the way, guys, it's plus or minus. That's our two coordinates. So these are our x coordinates though, right? So this is actually going to be, this coordinate here is negative 1 over root 2, and this coordinate here is 1 over root 2. But remember what I said, we don't want the x coordinate, we want the y coordinate. So I need to sub back into the original function. I'm going to sub this x into y. So let me just change the color. I'll do it over here. So sub into f of x. So I'm going to get f of 1 over root 2. This is going to be 1 over root 2 times the square root of 1 minus 1 over root 2 squared. Now this, guys, is actually going to be equal to 1 over root 2 times the square root of 1 minus a half, because 1 over root 2 squared is a half, just 1 over 2, so that's 1 minus a half, which is actually equal to 1 over root 2 times 1 over root 2. Because, again, this is 1 minus a half, which is root a half, and root a half is the same as 1 over root 2. And that is equal to a half. So this coordinate here, b, so b equals a half. And now, guys, we know that this is an odd function. So a, we know, is actually going to equal negative a half. But if you want to just sub in f of, you want to sub in negative 1 over root 2, well, you'll get the exact same thing, except this is negative here. This will be the same, so you're just going to be left with negative a half. And I don't need to show that working because I've already shown it's an odd function. Okay, so clearly, guys, you will agree with me that they did not, and surely they would. IB would also agree with me when I say they did not give us enough space. I could barely fit it in, even though I wrote all over here as well. But this is, so this is B and this is A. So it's very important you get it right. A is equal to negative a half. It's the lower one because Y is bigger than A. So A is negative a half and B is equal to a half. Okay, not an easy question. That's question 6.